how to calculate your waist radius. That's when you're cutting a circle skirt, and also to determine how much fabric you need to fold. So how you're going to go about this is to divide your waist circumference you're going to divide your waist circumference by 6.28. So for example, if your waist is 27 inches divided by 6.28, and that is equal to about 4.29, so I can say approximately 4.3 inches. I'll show you where we are going to be using this. To determine how much fabric I'll be folding, how much fabric I would need, you're going to add this 4.3 inches to the length of your skirt. So let's say my skirt is 20 inches. So skirt length is 20 inches. You're going to be adding this 4.3 inches, and that will be equal to 24.3 inches. Then you're now going to factor in your sewing allowance. So if your sewing allowance is let's say about 2 inches, you're not going to add that 2 inches to this plus 2 inches, and that will now be equal to 26.3 inches. So when you to determine the amount of fabric you need, you have to, because when you're folding, you're going to be folding your fabric into two like this. You need this measurement at least. You can add a little more, like I have 26 here. You can ensure that maybe your own fabric is like 20, just to have a little extra, but it should be at least 26.3 inches or about 27 inches. Then you're going to multiply this by 2. That will be the length and the width of the fabric you need at least for your skirt. So 26, or let me just say 27 multiplied by 2, that'll be 54 inches. So you need a fabric that is 54 by 54 inches at least to be able to cut your skirt. Do you get that? I hope you get what I'm trying to explain. So this is how to literally go about cutting your circle skirt. So right now I'll go over to show you how to cut. So this is how you'll be folding your fabric if you're making a circle skirt, for those that don't already know. After you have calculated the amount of fabric that you need, so you fold your fabric first of all this way. Fold it into 2. After you have folded this, then you go ahead and fold it this way again. Can you see that? Let me show you again. This is 1. You fold horizontally like that. Then you go ahead and fold again vertically. So when you're done folding like this, you hold it at the tip here. This way, then you fold again like this. I hope you get it. Then after you have folded like this, then you go ahead to input your measurements. So let's say the radius I'm working with Like in my own case, I'm working with 6 inches. Mark your 6 inches this way. You ensure that your tape is stabilized around here. Then you move this around and you measure like this. You see my hand is always here before I move my tape rule. Then you can now connect. So one thing that you have to do is that before you cut this place, measure first. You know the way we are folded, we folded our fabric like in 8 places. So you divide your waist by 8, you measure it. So for me around here I have 4.75. So you need to determine that by the time you multiply whatever you have here by 8, it is exactly the measurements that you're looking for. So if it is too much, you're going to go upward a little bit. That's if this is too wide. Sometimes it comes out like that. If it is too wide, you can go up a little, maybe by 0.5. You measure 0.5 around and measure what that gives you, just so that you ensure that this does not turn out too big, except you want to pleat your flay. That is when it can be slightly bigger. But if you need like an exact waist measurement, you have to measure this just to ensure that you have exactly what you need. In this case, because you are going to most likely add a zip, you measure this and it should be like 2 inches more than your normal waist measurement. So that one can go in for your zipper allowance. Aside for that, just ensure that what you have here is not too big or not too small. So when you've ascertained that what you have here is perfect, then you can go ahead and measure the length of your skirt. And how you do that, if the length of your skirt, let me just use 6 inches here. If it's 6 inches, you also move your tape as you are moving. Measure your 6 inches around like this. Then you can go on and connect that. And that will be it. When you're measuring this, please ensure to also add your sewing allowances so that at the end of the day the skirt is not too short. So you can add about 1 to 2 inches as your sewing allowance. Remember that you also, by the time you join this, you will join by like 0.5 or 1 inch depending on how you sew. So you have to factor that in when you're measuring the length of your skirt. You have to add the sewing allowance for the top and the hemming allowance at the end of your skirt. So you add all of that together and that will determine the length of your skirt. I hope you get that. Yeah, thank you all for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.